Hi everybody. I am making this video for everyone and uh, especially my Patreon subscribers. I have had a sort of a Patreon presence for a few months now, and I feel like I'm behind in creating content for that area, and I have a lot of things that are in the works that I'll be posting. But a couple of words about my Patreon page. Almost nothing, as far as I know, on that page is behind a firewall. In other words, you can go and see all the videos there at patreon.com/poetry sandwich. I may be changing the name of that page to patreon.com/the infinite game of everyday creation, because that's the name that I'm giving to the podcast that I'm just in the process of producing. That's going to feature some people in my life that I think of as living a creative life, that is, people like you and me who are making room, not so much making stuff as making room for longing and for the feeling of longing, allowing the feeling of longing to come in, because I think that's what we're in the middle of. We're in the middle of a sense of we really wish through this darkness, this obscure cloudiness, to see something on the other side that's better and more beautiful. I am on my way this morning. My friend Dia is taking me, and my other friend Daniel is bringing me back from an appointment I've had, I hear tell, and had some pain as evidence of a kidney stone, or perhaps more than one. So I have to go and get that checked out. I was in the emergency room a week or so ago, and it's a very peculiar situation that I don't understand all that well, but that is the case with so much of what we're dealing with now. And so I'm working to sort out what is happening there. Maybe it's passed, maybe it hasn't, I don't know. I wanted to share a poem. I usually think, well, I have to memorize this poem. There's a beautiful poem that we recorded, Elle and I, of Dia sharing that she memorized, which is called The Work of Happiness by May Sarton, who was a wonderful poet from the 20th century. And I'm in the process of creating music for that. That'll go up on the page. The podcast Infinite Game of Everyday Creation will be going up. I have some past work that I did, including a song that I wrote for Naomi Shihab Nye. There's a little piece about that I want to put up on the page. So I invite you to go and listen, but I want to say that I myself am just a player in an infinite game where I have certain limitations, that I cannot do everything that I wish to do. And yet I invite you to participate by viewing the work and commenting, giving me feedback on what I'm up to. And I want to share this poem by Jack Gilbert, which is called A Brief for the Defense. One word about the poem. It ends with a line that says, "To hear the faint sound of oars in the silence as a rowboat comes slowly out and then goes back is truly worth all the years of sorrow that are to come." Well, that's what Jack thought. You know, maybe to hear the faint sound of oars in the silence as a rowboat comes slowly out and then goes back is truly worth maybe it's not worth all the years of sorrow that are to come. We don't know. Maybe there's a lot of years of sorrow yet to come. But here's what he has to say, and I like this. Sorrow everywhere. Slaughter everywhere. If babies are not starving someplace, they're starving somewhere else with flies in their nostrils. But we enjoy our lives because that's what God wants. Otherwise, the mornings before summer dawn would not be made so fine. The Bengal tiger would not be fashioned so miraculously well. The poor women at the fountain are laughing together between the suffering they have known and the awfulness in their future, smiling and laughing while somebody in the village is very sick. There's laughter every day in the terrible streets of Calcutta, and the women laugh in the cages of Bombay. If we deny our happiness, resist our satisfaction, we lessen the importance of their deprivation. We must risk delight. We can do without pleasure, but not delight, not enjoyment. We must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world, to make injustice the only measure of our attention is to praise the devil. If the locomotive of the Lord runs us down, we should give thanks that the end had magnitude. We must admit there will be music despite everything. We stand at the prow again of a small ship anchored late at night in the tiny port, looking over to the sleeping island. The waterfront is 3 shuttered cafes and 1 naked light burning. To hear the faint sound of oars in the silence as a rowboat comes slowly out and then goes back is truly worth all the years of sorrow that are to come. And I imagine you may hear the faint sound of someone mowing their lawn in the background, and that must mean that life is going on despite everything, and music will go on despite everything. So I hope you, in your own way, in your very best way, in the best way that you know how, are going on today.